Being able to quickly zap money to a friend or family member is a convenience that has opened up a world of ease to our daily lives. But unfortunately, there's people out there where it comes to person-to-person payment apps that attract scammers waiting to get their greedy little hands on your hard-earned cash. Schoolsfirst Federal Credit Union is here to help us navigate the waters of online financial transactions and share some savvy tips to keep our money safe. Let's welcome Jonathan Wesson from the Folsom Branch Manager at Schoolsfirst. Welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Happy to have you on. So why do you think person-to-person payment fraud is so popular with scammers?
I think it's for the very same reason why it's so popular with consumers, right? Sending a payment from an app on your phone is super fast, convenient, easy. And so now it's become so adopted within the population that people will use it all the time. So now that's opened up doors for the scammers to try to access that money that's so easy for you to send.
Okay, that makes sense. It's convenience for us, so they're trying to figure out how they can get into that. So when it comes to fraudulent credit cards, we often have options to dispute and recover those charges that have been made. When it comes to person payment, do we have options to resolve that?
Unfortunately, no. There are no protections in place, and it's important for people to understand that. It's very similar to a cash transaction. When you send that money, it is gone. Now, hopefully, in the future, there will be protections that get put in place from a government level that can help people recover funds in the event of a scam. But as of right now, it's up to each person to protect themselves from getting scammed in the first place.
Yeah, you really have to be wise before you hit send on sending that money over, especially since it doesn't seem like there's anything to get that money back as of right now. It's astonishing how creative scammers can be. What are some common scams right now?
Well, most scams really involve the person tricking you into sending them the money yourself. So that's how they steal your funds, is you're actually the one sending it to them. And they do that by creating a sense of urgency, and they'll combine that with like a negative ramification. So for example, you might get a message on your phone that says, this is your utility company, and your last payment wasn't received, and your power is going to be shut off immediately if you don't send us a payment through this payment-to-payment, person-to-person payment app. Right? And your energy's high, you don't want, it's summertime, it's gonna be hot, gotta keep that AC on, and you send it, and you don't do any due diligence to really validate the request. There's also a common one with fake financial institutions. And so you get an alert on your phone that says, hey, this is your fraud department, and we need you to verify this transaction. And you look and you say, well, that's not my transaction. And they go, oh, okay, well, great, we can help you recover that, but you need to follow these instructions, and they'll send you a list of instructions. And so you think that you're getting money back when really you're sending the scammer the money based off the instructions they sent you. So you got to do your due diligence. You got to verify the request.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned, like when you mentioned that scam of, hey, you didn't pay your energy bill, you mentioned, and it's accurate. You go into that moment of panic and like, well, let me get this resolved ASAP, but you also want to make sure you're checking everything on your end before responding to that to make sure you're not getting scammed. Scary, I don't want to be scammed. Okay, so what proactive steps can we all take to safeguard our finances?
Be skeptical, right? Be alert, be aware. So if you're getting a message that's sent to you with a sense of urgency that you have to pay them right away, or they're asking for like your account credentials, most legitimate businesses or organizations don't interact with their customers that way, right? So go contact the business in question directly yourself. Don't reply to the alert that you were sent, and look at their website, their official website, and use that information to contact them and validate them. If you're dealing with a business that's demanding money and their only option, they're very adamant that you have to use this person-to-person payment app to pay them, you might want to walk away from that. That's not how businesses usually collect money, right? And when you only send money to people you know, friends and family. And as you alluded to earlier, you want to make sure that that number is right. Because once that money's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, I was going to say, thankfully, some apps now, they do add that additional, when you're sending money, it's like, are you sure you haven't sent money to this person before? So I even will double check on my end, like, yes, I'm sure, but let me just double check, because like you mentioned, once you send it, it's gone. So you want to make sure you're sending it to the right person.
Absolutely.
Any other additional tips when it comes to not falling victim to being scammed?
Yeah, if you're going to be using these platforms, make sure your phone software is up to date, right? So you have all the newest security features, and avoid charging your phone at public USB devices. Yeah, so those USB devices could be have viruses that are going into your phone, or when you plug it in, it could be transmitting the details, your information, to the scammer directly. So I carry around a little plug-in for a wallet with my own USB, just for that purpose.
So maybe even when you say public USB devices, maybe even avoiding like the airport plugins, because that's where I'm like, this is convenient, but maybe kind of avoiding that.
It's very convenient,
Yeah.
and I don't think that they're designed with that software, right? So, but somebody else, it's public. They can go in there when no one's looking, and they can put that software on there, and no one's the wiser. So.
Okay, good to know. And with the apps being proactive in their platforms, tell us about any security enhancements you know of.
So I know there are platforms where, because of the fraud and scams that's taken place, there are verification tools that you can use to make sure that that person's an actual user on the other end. So I had a personal example where I was trying to send my friend some money, and it was telling me that that wasn't right. It's a newer feature that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
And so I contacted him, and I said, hey, this isn't adding up. Let's, what's going on? And so he had to go and look and say, oh, on this platform, I have this number as my number.
Yeah.
But because it was someone that I knew, personally, I was comfortable making that change and sending it out. If you don't know this person, if they're demanding payment, you've never met them before, be skeptical, and most likely don't send the money.
All right, I'm going to be skeptical. Thank you so much for helping us. These are very helpful tips.
You're very welcome.
You bet. And you can visit one of the many Schoolsfirst Federal Credit Union branch locations as seen on the screen. And as always, you can find out more by going to schoolsfirstfcu.org.